Hello, Kehilat Darchei Tzion. We're on Shabbat, Parashat Noach. At the end of our parasha, we read the Haftarah from Yeshayahu Perek Nun Dalid. The simple connection between the Haftarah and the parasha is that when Hashem makes an oath to Am Yisrael that he will not be upset at them at the time that the prophecy is talking about, he says that he's making this oath, a Shavu'ah, and it's like Mei Noach. It's like the waters of Noach. It's like the flood that Hashem says that he made an oath. He said, Asher nishba'ati me'avor Mei Noach od al ha'aretz. Hashem swore, he made an oath that the waters of Noach, the flood, will not repeat and not come back to take over the world, to destroy the world. Harav Medan, in his lesson on the Haftarot, points out that throughout the parasha, what Hashem promises the world is not described as an oath, but rather as a covenant, as a brit. So where does Yeshayahu come up with this idea that it's an oath? Also, it's important to say that at least according to the understanding of Rav Medan, an oath is stronger than a brit, than a covenant. So the idea that we have an oath is a new idea introduced by Yeshayahu and does not appear in our parasha, where everything is described as the covenant. Where did where did this idea come from? Where did this interpretation of our parasha, what's its source? Rav Medan in the same shiur points out that we have a very interesting covenant. Most of the time, or maybe the definition of a covenant is that we have two sides, but both sides are both responsible. That each one has their obligations, right? We have a covenant in Ma'amad Har Sinai. Hashem takes us as his nation. We have to follow the Torah. Whenever you have a brit, whenever you have a covenant, you have two sides to it. And here, Hashem says, this is a covenant between me and the world. And he says everything that he is in charge of, and the world seemingly doesn't have any responsibility. So Rav Medan says, what is the definition of a one-sided covenant? That's an oath. That is the Shavu'ah. Hashem makes an oath to the world, saying that the world will continue flourishing and growing and will not be wiped out again. That's how we got to the idea that there's an oath and not just not the word covenant. But that really raises a question. Why is it described as a covenant? Why don't we really have any responsibility on the other side? Why use the word brit in our parasha and not use the word shavuah if it's one-sided? Seemingly, there maybe is a hidden responsibility, at least, from the other side. Hashem says, I will not destroy the world. But who is he talking to, or who is supposed to listen to this? Seemingly mankind. We have a responsibility also not to destroy the world physically. But of course, when we follow up on the story of Noach, our responsibility is to join Hashem in this treaty, we could say, and take responsibility for the world and make sure that it doesn't drop down again to the terrible ethical, moral, religious situation that it was in before the flood. Meaning, yes, Hashem makes like a one-sided oath. The world will not be wiped out. But we have to join in with Hashem on this. It's not only Hashem will not bring a natural disaster to the world, but we have an ethical and moral responsibility to make sure that the world isn't destroyed in the way we behave, in how we treat each other, how mankind, what is the level of mankind, how mankind behaves. That's our responsibility. And therefore, it's a joint covenant between Hashem and maybe humankind, mankind, on how we have to treat the world. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should take this message and take responsibility and make sure that really we continue growing in all the correct aspects and make sure that we help the world flourish and become a better, more moral, more spiritual place. Shabbat Shalom.